Hey everyone, Blaze4G here, also known as Silver4G on my main channel, and as you can see, I collect a lot of figures, mainly Sonic and Mario, but I was wondering, how many figures exactly did I just buy this year in 2025? Well, in this video, I'll be going over that. So, well, there are a few things I will not mention. First of all, you see like these Sonics, these Marios, these where else? These, the figures that Jax likes to include in every single playset and just wave, and they re-released a million times. I didn't keep track of those, so I will not be counting. But the other things I will be counting, like other characters, like all of these, and duplicates as well. I will not be counting figures that I broke or sold over time. I won't be counting accessories or playsets, just the figures, but there's a lot to mention here. I don't expect anyone to watch all the way through. And if you just want to see all the figures I picked up, and I have a number count at the end, you can just skip to the end. And I'll also be doing a top 10 figures of this year. Without further ado, let's get started. What was my first new figure of 2025? Well, it was Cream the Rabbit, and technically she's not new because I already had this figure. The reason why I bought an extra one is because my original, as soon as I took her out of the box, her wrist just broke off and I just had to super glue it, but I ended up selling that one and buying this one, which I'm very happy with. She isn't broken, and she's an awesome figure. But technically, she wasn't the first new figure because she was a duplicate. As you will see later in this video, I collect a lot of duplicates. I might not even mention like what figures are duplicates or not because there's just so many to keep track of, but in terms of the first actual new non-duplicate figure I bought in 2025, holy crap! Next batch of figures I bought. First off, we have this Badnik from Oil Ocean Zone. He came with the classic Sonic and the classic Knuckles. Again, I won't be going over the classic Sonic since I couldn't keep track of how many I got. Jax, please stop putting them in sets. But anyway, this guy's pretty cool, and I was actually wanting this Badnik since Kid Robot actually made a figure of him before. They actually made figures of a lot of the Badniks before Jax, so that's pretty cool. Next off, we have 2.5-inch Eggman, 2.5-inch Metasonic, and then a classic Supersonic that is 4-inch. His legs are kind of loose. Next up, we have a green Shy Guy. I found this guy at Target when I was looking for the Werehog 3-pack. Unfortunately, I did not find the Werehog 3-pack, but hey, at least I didn't go home empty-handed. But thankfully, just a few days later, Target ended up listing the 3-pack on their website. And there were rumors about this thing going up on Target's website, so I stayed up until like 1 a.m. to see if the rumors were real, and lo and behold, it finally got listed on Target's website, and I ordered it the second it dropped on Target's website, which I didn't need to since it stayed in stock for a few days, but still, this thing is awesome. We got the Werehog Sonic. This is a really awesome figure. We have an extra Supersonic, and then the Soap Shoe Sonic. Pretty cool. I also ordered these two 4-inch Boo figures from Target with the Werehog 3-pack, and these guys actually arrived on my birthday, so happy birthday! Around the time of my birthday, I was staying at an Airbnb with one of my friends, and we decided to go to Walgreens and get some snacks. Well, instead of snacks, I got this guy. His name's Spike, but I like to call him, Fishy Boopkins. No, I'm not gonna try to do that voice, but Fishy Boopkins from SMG4. If you know, you know. We got some of the Flickies. Next up, we got Dread from Sonic Prime. This guy came in that big old pirate ship playset. And unfortunately, we never got a 5-inch figure of Dread. This is all we got. Here's another figure Jax really likes to re-release over and over and over. But thankfully, we got an updated version of this Mario, which this one has way more articulation than the old one. So this one's pretty cool. And a Monty Mole. Here we got an Egg Robo. I really like Egg Robo. I really like to army build Egg Robo, which you'll see that later on. And next, a Metal Virus Sonic. I had to go on eBay for this guy, unfortunately. But here we got Fang, Cat Mario, Cat Luigi, and Cat Peach. These guys all came in a 3-pack together. Then we have a Hammer Brother. These guys also came in a pack together. A 2.5-inch Movie Shadow and a 2.5-inch Movie Supersonic. This guy is pretty cool. He's glossy, but not as cool as the GOAT, Agent Stone! For these next few, I just went crazy spending money on eBay, but anyway, here we have a 4-inch Wario. This guy was actually pretty rare before he got re-released. Like, it took Jakks, like, what, 10 years to re-release this guy? And I ended up getting the re-release because the paint job is way better than the old one. And I got this guy in 2024. He was one of my, like, holy grail figures before that. This Wario figure is just so awesome, and I'm glad Jakks is finally starting to re-release him. And Waluigi too. They made an updated 2.5-inch Waluigi and Wario. Right, next here we got Black Yoshi. Alright, ignore that he has the soap shoes for now. That's for Super Sonic Bros. Here we have Repeller Mario, a Daisy. Again, it took us until, what, 2024 to get a 4-inch Daisy from Jakks. That's just insane. It took us that long to get her. Anyway, next up we have a Red Bob-omb. I'm not sure if this guy is just about to explode or he's one of the good ones from Mario 64. And then we have a 2.5-inch Boom Boom. Man, the army is starting to build up. Next three are just duplicates of figures I already had. First off, we have Modern Eggman. The last time the 4-inch Modern Eggman figure was re-released was a long time ago, like around Wave 8. That's when I started collecting and making the stop motions with these guys. Like, it's been that long. I'm surprised this guy isn't more like rare. He really needs to be re-released. But anyway, next we have an extra Vector. He looks really derpy. Unfortunately, the new Vector releases don't have really good eyes. The only one that had good eyes for me was my original Vector, but unfortunately I sold that one because he was really loose. And next up, we have a duplicate Mephiles, and honestly, this guy is my favorite figure in my entire collection. That's why I bought an extra. He's just so cool. The detail, he's just badass. Oh my god. He has a decent amount of articulation as well, and they even gave him some feet. Wow, I love this guy so much. These three came together in a pack. We just have a regular 2.5-inch Movie Sonic. Alright, this one looks really weird. The Movie 2 2.5-inch figure was way better. Anyway, next we have a 2.5-inch Movie Super Shadow. This guy's pretty cool, but unfortunately, he's not glossy like the Super Sonic is, so that's strange. And next up we have Gerald Robotnik. Unfortunately, this guy sucks. He can't even move his feet, like, and look, his arms just pop off so easily. This guy he stinks. Did I mention this guy is almost impossible to stand? You gotta stand him at like some weird angle like that. Like a 2.5-inch Rocky and a 2.5-inch Fang. I ended up drawing the Fang on this guy because, strangely enough, the original figure just didn't have that detail and it looked really weird without it, so yeah. Anyway, I also did that with the 4-inch figure, but I don't have an extra 4-inch Fang, so maybe I'll get one without the drawing on it so I can have one in mint condition, but who knows? Well, what's so special about this guy? It's just a regular modern Sonic. Well, he's signed by Ryan Drummond, the guy who plays Sonic in Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Heroes. Man, when I heard this guy was doing a signing at a comic book store in my state, like, I was freaking out. I had to go. The drive was about 2 hours, but unfortunately we got on a traffic jam in the way there, so when I got there, the line was like really long, but thankfully they didn't turn anyone down. I was in there for 6 hours straight. 6 hours straight in line just to meet Ryan Drummond and get this signed. His signature was, what, $50, yeah. You'll learn later on that voice actor signatures are pretty expensive, but again, I'm going to keep this guy forever because he's really special to me. Sonic Adventure and Sonic Heroes are really special to me, and again, this was just a crazy experience for me. Like, I never thought I would ever meet any Sonic voice actors, and this guy's just really special to me, okay? Oh my god, my back hurts so bad. I'm so old. I'm the Gerald Robotnik 5-inch figure from the Sonic movie line. And honestly, this guy is incredible. I'm really happy to say that because, again, the 2.5-inch Gerald sucked. This guy actually has articulation in the legs, a lot more articulation than an average 2.5-inch figure, obviously. And honestly, since this was the first Gerald figure, like, this is my favorite Sonic Movie 3 figure. He's just awesome. Yeah, he's a fat old man, but again, Gerald is pretty important. He created Shadow, he created Eggman's dad created Eggman. Again, he's just really important, and I can't believe we finally got a figure of Gerald. One thing I will say though, Rouge deserved to be in the movie more than Gerald Robotnik, okay? But I'm happy we got a Gerald Robotnik figure. A Paragoomba and Spiny that came in a diorama pack. Another Hammer Bro, because you can never have too many Bowser minions. Same with Eggman Badniks, you can just never have too many of them. That's what I love. I just love army building these guys, and you'll see that more later on. Yep, you heard that right. Another Mephiles. Again, this guy is my favorite figure in my collection, so you can never have too many duplicates. As you can tell, these are all Jakks figures. I used to collect a bit of Jazzwares. In fact, I used to have the Excalibur Sonic, which is pretty rare, but like, I just don't really like Jazzwares, I'm sorry, so I sold all my Jazzwares figures. The only one I have left is this guy. Right, my camera focused, so now, wait a minute. This guy looks a bit familiar. Is that Dash from Sonic Star Motion Adventures? Let's go! Here we got another Egg Robo for the army. Here we got a Chow. You can never have enough Chow. Everybody loves Chow. Here we got an SBO, which I bought with the Chow. And you might notice, he has eyeliner. Well, the original Jakks SBO did not have eyeliner, and I think he looks really ugly without it. So, I commissioned somebody to give my 2.5 inch and 4-inch SBO eyeliner and made him more game accurate. Like, hold on, let me just grab the original SBO figure real quick. I'm coming back, I'm here, don't go, don't leave the video. Anyway, here he is. Look how ugly this guy is without the eyeliner. And look at that big old smile too. Like, SBOs usually frown in all media. This figure is like really shitty. This one is peak, like, oh yeah, they even gave him custom hands to do his pointing pose he does. But I can't remember the username of the person who I commissioned to make these for me, but I'll put their username on screen right now. Thank you so much. SBO is one of my favorite characters, and unfortunately, his figures just suck, but now his figures are good because of because you made them good. You're talented. Thank you so much.
Please tell me he didn't buy another Egg Robo. Well, considering that I'm here right now, I think he bought another Egg Robo. Yep, I bought another Egg Robo. And another Chaos, dude. Chaos is pretty cool. He's a decently rare figure now. Dude, why is my camera glitching out? This is actually annoying. The camera on my old iPhone was better than this. Like, come on. Anyway, yeah, this Chaos figure is pretty cool, but what I decided to do with my original, well, I don't really touch this figure too much, so I didn't really need to duplicate. I just bought this one because he came with this SBO and this Egg Robo, so I decided to give my original Chaos away to one of my online friends who just really wanted a Chaos figure badly, for free as well, so yeah. Next up, we got a 1999 Mario Kart Mario and a 1999 Mario Kart Bowser. These guys came with go-karts, and the go-karts are actually the reasons why I bought these guys, but besides the go-karts, these guys are still really awesome. Like, you can tell they're just from that time period. They are a time capsule of what Mario and Bowser looked like at this time. You will never see Mario and Bowser figures that look like this in the modern day. That's just what I like about them. Also, you might recognize this Mario figure from Sonic Toast. That's really nostalgic for some people.
It's another Egg Robo. We got a Fire Luigi, and this Luigi is my favorite Luigi that I own in my collection. Why? Because he has a new sculpt from all the other Luigis. He has much more articulation. He's just an overall 10 out of 10 improvement. Next we have a Piranha Plant. This guy is different than the old one because instead of his, stem being all one like solid piece, now it's bendy. You can move it however you want. And I got an extra Vector because this was my first time finding Vector out in the wild, so I couldn't pass him up.
Here we have a classic Metal Sonic. This guy was just a replacement because my old one broke. Nothing special here. But this Wario figure is also a replacement, but he's actually special because I used to have this figure way back in the day, but I lost him a long time ago. But this figure, seeing him in stores, like, I had no idea who Wario was at the time, so this figure was basically my first introduction to Wario, and you know, Wario is one of my favorite characters, so this figure means a lot to me, and this guy's just really cool.
Here we have a 2.5-inch Ray, and here we have the original 2.5-inch Ray. As you can see, the new release has much better eyes than the old one. For some reason, the old one has stretched out eyes. Here we have an extra 4-inch Knuckles. Here we have Heavy King. This figure is pretty cool, but I think he could have been a lot better than the final one. For example, the original one had really tiny hands for some reason. He had baby hands. So I decided to give the new one I got Heavy Gunner's hands because they actually look good. This Heavy King came with a Fang and a Neo Metal Sonic, dude. So I basically paid, like, for all three of these guys, the price of what Neo Metal Sonic just usually goes for on his own. So I'm really happy to have an extra Neo Metal Sonic now. My original one is pretty loose, so this one is in really good condition, and I plan on keeping him that way. Here we have a 4-inch Omega. I already had this guy, but my original one fell off my shelf tragically and broke into a million pieces, so this is his replacement. Here we have a random Green Toad and the updated articulation Fire Mario. I actually keep my Lego Sonic stuff in a totally different room than my figures. The same room with all my accessories and playsets, but anyway, we got the Lego Metal Sonic. This guy is awesome. And some people say that he would have been better off if he was a brick-built body, but honestly, I think the minifigure torso was the better option here. And here we have the Angry Tails that came with the Cyclone set. And we also have this monkey Lego. Well, the Batnik's name is Kiki, but I like to headcanon that this is Coconuts from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Alright, as you can see, I did a bit of rearranging. Let's continue. Continue with Tanuki Mario. Here we got the 5-inch movie Super Shadow, and man, this guy is just fantastic. Yeah, he's just a repaint of the original Shadow, but still, this guy is just really good. And honestly, he's the only good Super Shadow figure in my collection. Yeah, this one is decent. At least he's the right color, but he's just a 2.5-inch figure. And, you know, the game shadows are just this weird piss yellow color, which is not accurate. This is the only good accurate Super Shadow figure I have in my collection. I don't have the Jazzwares one, unfortunately. That's the only other good Super Shadow figure, but yeah, this guy's awesome. Glad to have him. I'm glad we finally got a good Super Shadow figure from Jakks. These next four are all from the same wave. Here we got Wario, Rosalina, Cat Mario, and Blooper. This Rosalina is awesome. I really hope we get a 4-inch or 5-inch one for the Mario Galaxy movie, since we don't have them yet. But anyway, this Wario figure, it's new and different from the old ones, but unfortunately, this guy, like, he wasn't really released well. His distribution was awful, so he'll cost you a pretty penny on eBay, so I'm just happy to have him. Bullet 1, Bullet 2, and Bullet 3. These guys actually are tins. They came with a bunch of candy inside of them. Here we got an updated Cat Peach and Cat Mario. This new Cat Mario is different than the old one. He's more like the 4-inch figure. The Sonic Transformers. These guys are awesome. I never knew I needed Sonic Transformers, but Sonic turns into his car from the racing games, and then Tails turns into the tornado, which is really fitting. Also, I'm not sure if this is on purpose or not, but look, the tornado parts can like split into two, and it's kind of like these parts are his two tails. I hope that's intentional because that's a really cool detail. Dry Bones! A movie Knuckles figure, but this time he has... It's a disaster! This is a custom Mario 64 Metal Mario figure, and he uses magnets for his articulation. This guy is really cool. The creator of this custom also made a regular Mario in this style and a Luigi. I might have to get that regular Mario later on, but for now I just have this guy. I decided to get Metal Mario over regular Mario because, you know, I already have regular Mario figures in my collection, and I don't have any Metal Marios, and the official Jakks Metal Mario is kinda buns. A Raccoon Mario, a Builder Mario, a Toad, a Shy Guy, and a 4-inch Spike, also known as Fishy Boopkins. And lastly, we have a Koopa Troopa, and this guy came with wings, so technically he's a Paracoopa, but I took the wings off, but I could just put them back on if I wanted to. But this Builder Mario, for some reason, this guy, his belt is a separate piece from the body, so you have to use like sticky putty to keep it up, or else it'll just keep falling down constantly. And this guy, you know, the figure looks alright, but he's just, compared to other Mario figures, like the plastic used to make this guy just doesn't feel good. I don't understand like what the problem is, but he just feels weird. An extra Werehog. This guy's awesome. That's why I decided to buy an extra, but I also wanted an extra pair of soap shoes and I guess an extra Supersonic, but I ended up customizing that extra Supersonic and he ended up breaking, so that's sad. But the soap shoes, as you saw earlier, I gave them to Black Yoshi for Supersonic Bros. 2.5-inch classic Supersonic. Here we got these 16-bit Sonic figures. These guys are awesome, and Tomy tried to do something similar to this, but Jakks just did it way better. They actually made the figures fully pixelized instead of just repainting the originals. But anyway, I'm also glad this guy is 3D and has articulation, because this Mario figure is also from Jakks, and yeah, he just doesn't have a back. So again, I'm glad this guy is 3D. 2.5-inch Yoshi and Goomba with updated articulation and sculpts. The updated 4-inch Fire Mario with updated... The 4-inch Fire Mario with updated sculpts and articulation. This Fire Mario goes with this Fire Luigi. Here we got the giant light-up Mecha Sonic. This guy is a pretty random choice for them to make him as a figure, but I'm not complaining. This guy is just pure awesomeness. But along with these three, I got them after a week of working. So basically, I was hired to do a bunch of jobs like 2 hours away from my house, so I had to leave for the week, and you know, after all that work, I finally got to come home. I went to Target and got these guys, so you know, I finally got to open new figures after a week of working. It was pretty awesome and relaxing and refreshing. 4 Goombas! I may have went crazy buying Sonic Boom Tomy figures, but anyway, we have Boom Sonic, Boom Tails, Boom Amy, Boom Knuckles, I really like this one, and Boom Eggman. Why is Boom Eggman buff? Eggman's supposed to be fat, like that's why his name is Eggman. But anyway, here we have Boom Shadow and Boom Sticks. And honestly, these guys are really expensive, like close to $100 each is the average price you'll find for them on eBay. I understand why Sticks is that much, because like this is the only Sticks figure besides one other figure from Tomy, and for some reason, Tomy only released the Sticks figure once. That doesn't make sense. She's a main cast member. I don't know why Tomy never bothered to release her more. Again, I can see why Sticks is rare, but Shadow, like, I don't really understand why he's so expensive, because this guy, you know, he's kind of ugly. Well, I can't really be talking since I still spent money on him, but it just looks ugly at times, and there's plenty of other Shadow figures out there, so again, I don't really understand why this guy is so pricey when there's other Shadow figures out there. Well, Tomy didn't really release him a lot either, so that could be it. The Metal Sonic from Tomy is also kind of expensive. I do not have that one, unfortunately. But anyway, the last 3 Boom figures are Parallel Universe Eggman. Yes, that's his name, not just Green Eggman. And we have Orbot and Cubot. I already had this pack. These 3 came together in a pack, which is actually pretty common. Like, you could get this in box for like $20, and I think that's a really good thing since Jakks hasn't made an Orbot and Cubot. Hopefully they will someday. But anyway, I already had this pack, but I decided to buy a new one because, well, my original Cubot broke. 2.5-inch Peach and Bowser figures. I already had this Peach, but I had to buy a new one because my dog ate my last one. But anyway, this Bowser figure, I used to hate this Bowser figure. When I saw images on him, like, online, I used to think he was really ugly and too small, and well, take a look at this. Yeah, I do agree he's too small. Like, Princess Peach is taller than him, but I don't really hate this figure anymore because its main purpose is just to be packaged in with playsets, so I guess it just serves its purpose. And if you really want a Bowser that scales with the 2.5-inch figures, just get the SH Figure Arts Bowser. It's actually getting re-released next year, so that's awesome. Here we got the first non-Mario or Sonic characters for this video, Nendroid Sans and Nendroid Pomni. By this, you can tell that I'm a pretty big fan of Undertale and the Amazing Digital Circus. And you know, for Digital Circus and Undertale, there's not really a lot of options for articulated figures from, you know, those series. So these Nendroids are just the perfect option for me. And you know, they fit in pretty well with the rest of my figures too, since they're around the 4-inch scale. Maybe I'll get the Sonic Nendroid someday. I was considering getting the Shadow one. I was hanging out with my friends at a grocery store, so for some random reason I decided to buy a Mario Pez dispenser because, you know, everywhere I go, I need to find additions to the collection. A few days later, me and those same friends went to the mall, and one of them bought me 3 of these Funko Mystery Blind Bags. First I got Amy, then I got Sonic and Tails. Thank you so much for buying these for me, by the way. But anyway, yeah, I was looking for Metal Sonic or Silver, but I'm still happy with these guys. But after that, well, we got these at Hot Topic. So after we left Hot Topic, we went to a store that was selling candy from other countries, and I saw something Sonic related, so I had to buy it. It was just, I don't know what it was, but it was like some pudding that came with the Sonic figure. That pudding was the most disgusting thing I have ever eaten in my life. Like, it was horrible. I will never forgive this Shadow figure for tricking me into buying that absolutely disgusting pudding. I hated it so much. I wanted to puke. Never again. This guy doesn't even deserve to be a part of the collection. But anyway, this time, I went back to Hot Topic to buy more of these blind bags since I wanted Silver or Metal Sonic. But this time I used my own money. And guess what? I got Metal Sonic!
Sonic, dude, that was just so lucky, and I did it like right before we were about to leave the mall too, so it was just a last minute decision, and I got the Metal Sonic, dude. Let's go! I would have preferred Silver, but still, Metal Sonic's also goated. Green Lantern Silver! This guy is just awesome. This is the first 5-inch Silver figure from Jakks, and I'm just really happy, you know. I'm just happy we got a new Silver figure, but nonetheless, this guy is just incredible. He's awesome in every way. Like, you know, he is dressed as Green Lantern. He's not a regular modern Silver, which some people might not like, but I don't mind it. Hopefully we will get a regular 5-inch Silver in the future, but for now, this guy's cool. And, you know, the Sonic X DC collab as a whole is something I never knew I needed, but yeah, it's just awesome all around. And I think this is the most articulated Silver figure ever, so we finally have a high quality Silver figure. We can just rest in peace. This guy is so awesome. Man, I'm running out of space here. These next two are exciting, so hopefully I'll be able to fit them on camera. But here we got a Mario figure signed by Charles Martinet himself, aka the guy who voiced Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi for 30 years, man. He was really nice when I met him. Like, I'd recommend meeting him to anyone who gets the chance to. When I heard he was going to be at a Collecticon near me, I just knew I had to go. There were other voice actors there too, which you'll see in a minute, but Charles's signature was $80, which I think is a fair price because, you know, voice actor signatures are just around that price nowadays, and you know, this guy voiced Mario for 30 years and literally made my childhood, so I'm just so happy I got to meet him again. He was super nice and his signature was worth it. But I got more signatures. Here we got a Blaze figure signed by the voice actors of not only Blaze, Erica Showrider, sorry if I said her last name wrong, I really suck at pronouncing names, and Bryce Papenbrook, aka the current Silver. Man, these two were also nice when I met them. I'm really happy I got to. But anyway, the reason why I didn't get the Silver autograph on just a Silver figure itself is because, you know, I got this Green Lantern Silver figure to actually get signed by Bryce, but on the convention website, it just said that Bryce was going to be doing panels, not signings. But when I went there, he was doing signings. So, shoot, I decided to get the Silver signature on the Blaze figure because, you know, Silver and Blaze signatures together, that's pretty cool. Silver and Blaze are my two favorite characters, and Silver and Blaze are best friends and are inseparable. Unfortunately, when I bought the original Blaze figure off of eBay, her box arrived a bit damaged, but it's whatever. I still love this, and I'm keeping it forever. Alright, these next four came in a pack together. Here we got another Green Lantern Silver. I'm happy to have another one because Silver's my favorite character. Here we have a Flash Sonic. He's pretty cool. And Shadow as Batman. This guy is awesome. Batman is my favorite superhero, and again, Shadow's pretty cool. I named my old cat after Shadow, but anyway, look, his chest lights up. And you know, I'm really happy that this figure is high quality. His articulation, he's not too loose, and his sculpt, he's just awesome. And you know, this Super Shadow figure right here is cool, but the light-up Super Shadows from the movie, those things, I bought 2 of them. They both broke on me straight out of box. So I'm really happy this guy didn't break on me. He's awesome. But now Darkseid, look, I'm a decent DC fan, so this guy is just my least favorite because, you know, I'm a massive Sonic fan. But one thing I will say, even though I prefer the 3 Hedgehogs, Darkseid is the highest quality figure that comes here. He's not my favorite, but again, in my opinion, he's the one with the highest quality. This Darkseid figure is still really awesome, and I'd recommend it to, like, any DC fan that's looking for a Darkseid figure. Can't believe I forgot Froggy. He came with Metal Virus Sonic. Here we got 2.5-inch Superman Knuckles and 2.5-inch Shadow as Batman. These guys are awesome, and they came in 2 packs. Shadow came with Batman, and then Knuckles came with the Superman, which let me just rant for a second. These figures suck. Like, I was really disappointed. I was planning on collecting all of these figures that were released by Jakks, but considering that Superman's arms falls off super easily, his articulation is just kind of low quality, and you know, Batman for me, he just completely broke straight out of box. At least with Superman, I could put the arms back on if I wanted to, but no, Batman just broke straight out of the box. These figures just suck, and that really makes me sad because, you know, I'm a decent DC fan, so I was really looking forward to getting the Superman and Batman figures. This Darkseid figure is incredible. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. These guys just suck, and again, it's just really disappointing considering how good this Darkseid is. So I will not be collecting the rest of these figures. I'll just be buying the Sonic characters separately in the blind bags. DK and Diddy, Dixie and Cranky. These guys were actually pretty rare before they got re-released in the 4-pack.
Oh boy, I sure do hope I don't trip. Whoa! Well, we made it. Here's the final figure that I picked up in the year of 2025. Metal Sonic! And I already have two of this guy. So a bit of anticlimactic, but you know, this was my first time actually seeing Metal Sonic in the store, so I just couldn't pass him up. And I was originally going to keep him in box, but I just wanted an army of Metal Sonics, so I took him out of box. And with that, here's every single figure I bought in the year of 2025. Not even counting the ones that I either broke or sold. These are just the ones that I kept. First of all, let me just say this wouldn't be possible without you guys. I wouldn't be so invested in this hobby without you guys. I'm really thankful for you guys supporting my main channel and watching my content. It just means a lot because again, this is basically my life's passion. So again, it just means a lot to me. And for the final number of figures, 148. It sure doesn't look like that to me. It looks more like 100, but wow, I seriously can't believe it. I'm 99% sure that I doubled my entire collection this year. Bought more figures than I have ever combined. Like, wow. But let's go over them now. Here are the signed ones by the voice actors. And man, I'm really happy I got to meet these people. I looked up to them for so long. And like the content that they're in just means so much to me. So again, it feels unreal to have their signatures. And you know, I met them in person. So those interactions will always be remembered in my head as something special. Anyway, here's the non-Sonic stuff. Again, I would have started collecting these DC figures if the small ones weren't crappy. Okay, Darkseid, you're awesome. Please don't take shade. It's just the mini ones. But here's Pomni and Sans. I think I might start collecting other Nendroids from series I like as well because, you know, they fit in with the 4-inch scale and everything. Here's the Mario characters and the Sonic characters. And I think it's mostly just duplicates, but I'm alright with that. Again, I love collecting duplicates and army building and etc. And you know, there's still some pretty good new figures. And in fact, I think I'm going to do a top 10 figures of the year in this video. In the number 10 spot, we got the Giant Mecha Sonic. This guy, again, he's random, but he's still just coolness. Number 9 is Metal Virus Sonic. This guy is just a cool variant all around, and in 2024, I just couldn't get this guy at all, so when I finally got him in 2025, I was just really excited. And also, this figure, like, yeah, he's in my number 9 spot, but, you know, the Metal Virus story in IDW is my favorite Sonic story of all time, so it's just really cool to have this guy. Hopefully someday I can get the Tangle and Whisper figures, but they're going for like $100 each on eBay right now. In number 8, once again, I'm mentioning how awesome this Darkseid figure is. Man, you know, the Sonic X DC crossover, when I read it, like, I didn't really know much about Darkseid, but after I read the crossover, like, I just really like this guy. Not to mention a million times I've said this figure is just awesome, really cool, really articulated, and surprisingly high quality. Number 7, we have the Gerald Robotnik from Sonic 3, and again, this is our first Gerald Robotnik figure, so that's probably just why I'm super excited that this guy exists, and he's just my favorite Sonic 3 figure overall. Even though he's just a fat old man action figure, I still love him. Number 6, we have Nendroid Pomni, and this is my only piece of Digital Circus merch, so she's special to me. Again, I really love that show. And actually, as I'm recording this, episode 7 is coming out in a couple of hours. I am so excited, and I'm actually tweaking, dude. I cannot wait. But she came with a bunch of accessories that I don't feel like digging out right now, but yeah, she came with a bunch of accessories and extra stuff, so that's why I like her so much. She's just a really cool figure. My number 5 spot is a tie between the Sonic Transformer and the Tails Transformer. The Sonic Transformer has more articulation, and you know, he's pretty cool. He kind of looks like Sonic Man from Sonic 06. This guy is just, again, cool. He transforms into Sonic's car. But Tails, I just think like his concept overall is cooler, but as a figure, I prefer this guy. You know, he turns into the, what's it called, the tornado, and again, I think that's really awesome, and the fact that, like, parts of the tornado are supposed to be his two tails, like, these figures are just a genius, and again, the concept for Tails is really good, but, like, Tails just, he has more limited articulation. The pieces to him fall off all the time. You know, I kind of like how you can take the pieces off. It's more customizable, but the fact, like, it's hard for them to stay on, that's what I don't like about this figure. And, you know, again, for the millionth time, I think the concept for this guy is cooler, but, like, in terms of, like, how they actually turned out, I think the Sonic Transformer is cooler. 4-inch Wario, and look, technically I already had this figure, but this is a newer version. He has a different paint job, some of his colors are different, and look, his eyes are just they look better, he has better articulation, and you know, this guy is from 2014, so you know, he's kind of just run down, but still in good condition. But this guy is just in way better condition. I tried to exclude duplicates for this list, but I'm sorry. I just love this Wario so much more than this one. And you know, this Wario, like, he was one of my dream figures for a while, as I mentioned before. So I was really excited to get this guy, and he's my favorite, well, he was my favorite Mario figure I owned. But when I got the improved version of him, yeah, this is my new favorite Mario figure I own. So again, I try to exclude duplicates, but technically, since this is a newer version of the figure, I'm not sure if he really counts as a duplicate, so I'm putting him on this list, okay? How could these not be on the list? For the number 3 spot, it's a tie between all the signed figures I have. Again, just to get these, it was difficult. For Sonic, I had to wait 2 hours, I mean, not 2 hours, 6 hours in line for the signature, and the signature itself was $50. For the Blaze figure, so for the Mario and Blaze figure, their voice actors were all at Collecticon, so I got a VIP ticket since I didn't want to wait in lines after my experience in the 6-hour line. So for Mario, I was the second person in line to meet Charles Martinet, so the wait wasn't really long, but the signature was still $80. And for Blaze, Blaze's signature wasn't that, well, yeah, again, since I was one of the first ones there, I was like, what, the 4th in line, so I didn't have to wait at all. But Silver, Bryce Papenbrook, since he's quite popular, I just had to wait around an hour to meet him, which wasn't that bad. But Blaze and Silver signature, they were both $60. So again, just to even get these, it's a bit difficult. The signatures are expensive, these things mean a lot to me, and I'm just keeping them forever, okay? At the number 2 spot, we have the Werehog, and you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I think those voice actor signatures figures could either be number 2 or number 1, but for now, I'll keep them at the number 3 spot. But again, those ones are just way more special to me, and I would not be surprised if they jump to like number 1 or number 2 in the future, which I would rather have those signatures than the Werehog, so I don't know why I'm putting the Werehog at number 2, but I already made the list, so whatever. Here, but the Werehog is still a very cool figure, even though I hate the Werehog levels in Sonic Unleashed. I think the Werehog, I like the Werehog. No, I love the Werehog, but I just hate his levels, so. But again, this figure, actually, you know, I got this guy just around the time he released, so this was like the quickest I ever got a figure after his release. I actually typed for him, and again, this was just the first like new figure of 2025 that Jakks put out, so this guy's just awesome. Are you guys really surprised? My number 1 spot is Green Lantern Silver. The only other figures that could like tops this one is obviously the voice actor signatures, as mentioned. You know, if I redid this list, I'd probably put the voice actor signatures at number 1. But still, Green Lantern Silver is my favorite figure of the year because you know, Silver's my favorite character, Green's my favorite color. Just a funny random combination that just turned out to be awesome. And look at this. His articulation, he has the movie 3-like articulation, so it's just a high quality figure overall. This is basically this is our first 5-inch silver figure from Jakks, and our first 5-inch silver figure since the Jazzwares days with Sir Galahad. And you know, this guy is just awesome overall. I won't go, you know, I don't have much more to say besides that he's silver, and you know, Silver obviously is my favorite fictional character of all time, so I have bias automatically. And you know, the fact we even got a new silver figure this year, I'm just happy about that. So this guy's my number 1 spot right now. And here are my top 10 figures of the year. Well, the signed figures, I already put them back on display, so I don't feel like getting them out again. They're just too cool to put here with the others, so let's just say that. But yeah, in terms of out of box, here are my favorites that I got this year. And again, one of the reasons why I really enjoy collecting, I don't expect anyone to watch this entire video, I'm gonna be honest, but you know, I had so much to say about each and every individual figure, and you know, that's something special to me. Each figure just means a lot, and is, you know, it adds to the collection, and there's something special about each and every one of these figures. But anyway, if you guys did watch all the way through, or just made it to this point, skip to this point, I don't care. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my main channel, Silver4G, and check out my content. And well, I'll see you guys later.